friends. This is Dolores Williams of DW's View Stand Up. If we do not stand up for what we believe, who will? I want to talk about my sponsor. Sponsors are what keep this podcast going. My peak performance coach, Kim Gator, is my sponsor. If you are feeling stuck or you've hit a wall and you're really too close to the gap from where you are today to where you want to be, then you need to reach out to my personal performance coach, Kim Gator. You can reach her at Calendly, CALENDY.com/Kim, KIM Yater, YEATER, for your complimentary strategy session. Now, today, I want to give thanks to God. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. If we do not stand up for what we believe, who will? Welcome to DW's View Stand Up. I have a special privilege today of interviewing two wonderful men. I haven't met them. Well, I probably have met them in person, just didn't know it. But today I am going to talk to Mr. Jimmy Doe. Hope I'm saying that right. Jimmy Doe. Yes,
Hello.
and Anthony Pham. These are my two guests today, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of them. Jimmy was born in South Vietnam, near Saigon, in 1966. He successfully fled from communist rule in Vietnam and came to the United States in 1991. After arriving in the United States, Jimmy took the opportunity to learn in an ESL school, eventually going to study general education at Mesa College. After Mesa, he studied computer science at UCSD and graduated with his bachelor's degree. Jimmy has worked as a civilian employee for the Department of Defense. Also, since his arrival in the United States, he has successfully sponsored his wife over from Vietnam. He now lives in San Diego with his wife and his two daughters. And let me tell you a little bit about Anthony. Anthony, he is married and has two daughters. He also escaped from communist South Vietnam, arrived here in 1982. He got his BS in electrical engineering, and he works for a private company here in San Diego. Please help me welcome Mr. Jimmy Doe and Anthony Pham. Good evening, Jimmy and Anthony. How are you today?
Very good. I'm doing fine. Thanks, Dolores,
good.
for having us today.
Thank you for coming. It's my pleasure. We're going to go ahead.
Pleasure to talk with you.
Amen. Amen. Well, we're going to go ahead and start because I want your story to be heard. And first of all, I want you to just tell me a little bit about your life growing up in communist Vietnam. And you guys can decide who goes first. Just take a little bit of time, just a
Anthony,
short time. Just tell us.
Yeah, Anthony, just go ahead.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Okay. Like Doris just introduced me in the short. We live and grew up in Vietnam before we settled down here in the United States. So talking to you about the communists in Vietnam, we have no pride, no future. We don't have the human right. Basically, we don't have as the basic of the human right has. So the school, talking about at my childhood, when I go to school, because I am the son of the captain. My father my father is a captain and worked with the US government before the 1975. So because of that, the resume, and then we are not allowed go to the good school, or even though if we go to good school, we have to achieve the very high points compared to the regular student getting to the university. And for the regular life, and I remember help my mom do things, selling coffee. We have the coffee shop at home, and we but basically they harass us every day. The local police, they not as good allow the citizen do the business, and we usually have to bribe them. Yep.
Wow. Okay, so Anthony, thank you, Jimmy.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, my father was, the South Vietnamese soldier. So, so we grew up in the outskirts of Saigon, Vietnam, and well, I mean, we did not able to escape from Vietnam when the communists took over. So it's a disaster, when the communists violate the Paris agreement peace to end the war in Vietnam. So they invading and take over the country. So I mean, I'm witness people. I mean, fled the village of of in the north, and fleeing south to city in the south, or Saigon, or city in the south. And so I mean, it's disaster. I mean, chaos, and people have to flee to our neighbor, country around it. And the communists take over, and they kick people out their houses, and take over their property, all kind of stuff. So I lived there and escaped from Vietnam in 1982 by boat. So I escaped from the Vũng Tàu, I mean, at night, during the stormy night. And after one day heading south to Malaysia, the boat engine is dying, and we floating, and the storm crushing us and pushing us all the way up to Da Nang, middle of Vietnam. So luckily that we have the Navy soldier, prisoner, escape, able to fix our boat engine, and we decide heading east, directly east, toward the Philippines. And after another 2 days, so we're floating for 5 days. They push us up to the mid Da Nang, and after that we able to fix the boat engine, and we go in east, and we stuck at the one of the coral reef of the island belong to Taiwan. And we thought we arrived to Philippines, but it's belong to Taiwan. And we just very lucky that the north neighbor Iceland belong to Red China CCP, and the one neighbor Iceland is south. It belong to Vietnamese communists. So either one will get in trouble. So the Vietnamese, the Taiwan let us stay there for a couple of days, and after that, the Taiwanese Navy ship fleet took us to Taiwan, and from there, and we lived over there for 1 year before we get to arrive to United States.
Amen. Wow. Well, yeah. I can see that God was with you, protecting you.
Yes, it's lucky
Yes.
we able to survive, and because million people, I mean, get killed I mean, with the pirate in the area, and I mean, not able to get to the I mean, enjoy the freedom.
I want to add a little bit on top of the Anthony just said that. I remember when the communists just invaded in South Vietnam, and yeah, Anthony says right. And if you have the big houses, villas, the big houses or any properties, and then they will kick you out, and then they will took your house, and then they said this is how it belonged to them. So they flush you out to the remote areas and ask you live in there, like in the jungles or in the mountains. And kids, like I just said earlier, for kids, you have not allowed to go to school. And for those, the people, mother, father, brother, sisters, whoever work with the US government have to go to labor camp. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
My goodness. Oh my goodness. Now, you've just we'll talk more about communism. I was going to ask you, if we have more time at the end, I'll ask you, what is communism? But I want to ask, and I know you kind of talked about it, but what gave you the courage to flee communist Vietnam? I mean, you could have been caught and probably been killed if you had been caught, right? Trying to escape. What gave you the courage to keep going and to escape there? And I know that the country is still under communist rule. So what gave you the courage?
Well, freedom. Well,
that's right. Anthony, go ahead.
Yeah, freedom and the basic human dignity. Because I mean the common, we will talk more about that later on about the communists, but they basically is gangster and slave, people. So, and we need the basic freedom. So that's why we have to risk our life to escape, to get the basic freedom that, that people here enjoy. But they don't really realize that it's a very precious.
Yeah.
Have a basic freedom to speak out and,
Now, when you left, when you fled Vietnam, I know you left on a boat. How many people were on the boat, would you say?
Yes, a small boat that designed to travel in the river, not the ocean.
Okay.
So, I mean, 12 meter long, 3 meter wide, with 108 people.
Okay.
We packed together in there. So when we go outside, it's just a small boat. I mean, the wave, and only way we can escape from the country is during stormy night, right? Stormy season. So when we go out there, the wave, and especially when our boat is engine is was dying. So I mean that mean the wave is just covers. And just imagine that you have a bucket of water and put a leaf in the middle of it, and you shake it sideways, everything like that. So when we above, the wave carry us above. I look down, it's like 3-4 story down deep. And we at the bottom, the wave is come over like 3-4 buildings over. And the boat is cracking. I mean, it's just like always like breaking apart, and water leaking in. And so we have to, we divide people, men, any age. I mean 10 above, right? No, I don't know. All the men have to divide by 3 teams. Constantly bucket the water out over the board out, so the boat is not sinking. The people down sit down there, it's just like the water like dry up, you know, at the their neck.
Yes.
So we have to constantly, you know, get the water out constantly. And I mean, when it's shaking like that, it's just not like on a yacht, something like that.
Yeah.
Enjoy life. This one is just like constantly surviving.
Yeah.
Bucket out, and the people, you know, cannot move, right? I mean, they so we constantly move. So, and we have only like 50-gallon bucket of fresh water, but it's so old, it's rusty in there. And when it's shaking, the water turn like yellow. We call orange juice because it's so rusty. The color is so yellow like that. And we get the three you know, the military bottle, the cap of it. It's just small like this, and we have 3 cap of water to drink, fresh water. One in the morning, one at noon, and one in the afternoon.
Wow.
Anthony,
so
Anthony, question. So it looked like your story pretty bad, but not really much bad. That you haven't hit by parade, right? So you good. Well, I heard a lot of the most people get hit by parade from Thailand. Like my brother, his boat have been hit with the parade 7 times, and they rob everything, and they don't have the food, they don't have the drink, and people dying out. It's very, very awful, terrible.
Yep.
Yeah. So did your brother come before you, Jimmy, or after?
Yes. My brother came here before me. They also escaped, like Anthony case. He escaped by boat. I also tried to escape by boat, but unsuccessful. And my story is also interesting as well. So I tried to escape by boat a couple of times, and all failed. And I got in jail. And every time I went to escape my.
Oh, you're silent now.
This will go is so when I come to the country, so I can telegram and let my mom know that I come to third country safely. But every time when we fail to do that, and then everybody, not only me, if you have any jewelry, watches, everything, when you get caught by the communist police, they took everything, no document, and when you get out of jail, no return to you. So they took it without the document. And when I got to jail, I got to jail, and then they use the long rifle, right? If you try to argue with them, they will bang to your face. They ask you, where's all the money? Where all the jewelry? Where all the gold, the silver? Give it to them. If they don't, they will bang the rifle to your face. That's very terrible. So I was in jail like so many times, can't count. But because at that time I am the underage, so they conclude that I escaped, I betrayed the country without the knowledge. So I usually stay in jail about from 1 to 3 months. But for those people above the 18 years old, they conclude that you betray the country with the knowledge. So you gotta stay in the labor camp like so long, like 3 years and 5 years.
Wow.
Yep. And when I remember when I escaped my boat when I was in the 3rd grade, 5th grade, 7th grade. Like I said, many different ages try to escape with all risk cost because they're looking for the freedom.
So Jimmy, how did you finally get out? Now, you didn't get out by boat. Did you go by land? How did you get out of there?
That's a good question. Yes. Like other people, my mom tried to give me the money and give try to escape my boat. So in order to escape the Vietnam, we have the three different ways: by land, on foot, we cross to the Thailand or Cambodia, and from there we will get interview and go to the third country. And by sea, mostly a majority Vietnamese flee by sea by boat. My case is after a long time try to escape by boat, we failed. And finally in 1990, the US government have the program, they said the HO, the Humanitarian Support Organization, something to help any people have a time long enough, 6 years, working with the US government, have a chance to resettle in the United States. And I go with my father. So my father is the good chance bring my whole family here.
Oh, okay. So is your father here now?
Yes,
your
my
father's
father here.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good,
Yep.
good, good. So you got your whole family was able to come.
Yes.
Yeah, what a blessing. Yeah,
Thank
what a
you.
blessing.
Blessing, yeah.
Yes. Now, so Anthony, is your whole family here or do you still have family in Vietnam?
Well, I mean, I escaped with my brother and my sister, and after that, I mean, after that, I sponsored, my sister come over. So yes, they are here, but
Okay.
their children still over there. They stuck over there. Yeah.
Oh, so their children are still there?
Yes.
Do they want to leave or why are they still there?
No, they sponsor.
Oh, so
Right.
they can, okay.
In the
How
process.
long does it take to sponsor them to actually come out?
12 years, 13 years. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's very upset that, I mean, to come over legally, you have to put the, sponsor paper in there for 12 years before they looking at it. And we have to go through all kind of, scanning, health, education, everything like that before, we able to enter here.
But
But look at the illegal situation down there with all the disease and criminal and everything like that. It gets sad to see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
but
I mean, go ahead, Jimmy.
the process now is already fast. I remember back in the 1985 or 1990, if you sponsor people from Vietnam, it takes so long because the Vietnam and USA not established the relationship yet. So USA, we don't have the US embassy in Vietnam. Everything we have to go through Bangkok, Thailand. So the paper back and forth. Remember at that time we don't have the mobile phone, we don't have the phone, we don't have the, so everything is very like a turtle. It's very slow speed to back and forth. So it take a long time. They have 10 years, very long. I can tell. Yeah.
Wow. Well, and I'm going to ask you this now. I know both of you can see signs of communism in America. You fled communism in Vietnam. And how do you feel when you see what's happening right here in America? You ran away from this stuff, and now here we are in America, and the American people can be very naive and they don't understand. That's why I wanted to talk to both of you and to bring you on and just talk about that communism, the signs of it that you see here, and how the American people need to wake up.
Anthony, go ahead.
Okay. So, I mean, I have risked my life to escape from Vietnam by boat. So I know what the real communist is. So, I mean, I don't want to see the, China CCP, Communist of China Party take over this country at all. US is the last standing for freedom now. Since most of the European country has been corrupted by the Red China CCP already. So we definitely don't want China take over this country. I mean, they will kill you because they has been killing all the races in China for decades. And people, I mean, because the corrupted media, nobody reporting about that. So if they take over this country and the world, they will kill. I mean, they kill their own Chinese, all the races in their country. You know, take out. I mean, take out the internal organ to sell online.
Mm.
You see that, right? What they go to do when they take over this country? Think about that. So people in here have to wake up. Communist China is a gangster. They will kill. It's just like, Hitler, okay?
Mm.
They will kill all the races. So don't be fooled by the corrupted mainstream media and what the corrupted, government officer we have in our government. So wake up, please. Okay.
Yeah, just want a message for those American people who are naive about the threats of the communists to the U.S. country. The first is about we have to respect our freedom and respect our human rights. For communists, my last president, they have the very good verb they said before we lost our country. They say, never listen to them. Just look at what they did. That is all Americans. Just never, ever listen to them. Just look at what they did and you will know the truth. Because they have a very good cover, and they say like, you live in the heaven, but it's not. They trick you. They do everything, exploit you. For example, 20 years, 30 years ago, right? We have compared to now USA, for the freedom of speaker, freedom of the press, freedom of the news. Right now, everything is censored. You don't have a freedom. You don't have the multiple ideas. They cut you out. They kick you out. They block you. They do everything. So it looks like we live in communist country already, right? Because we don't have a chance to talk your idea. You don't have a chance to speak up your opinion. That's the basic.
Yeah.
You can feel it now.
I'm so happy that you guys are saying that, because I talk about it all the time, and I'm sure you can see, brother, how race, whiteness, all this stuff is used to divide people and to conquer this country. We use race. I hear race. You're racist. Get rid of racist. Get rid of whiteness. All that stuff is nothing but Marxism, communism, socialism. They're all tied together. And they're using it to divide this country and to destroy this country and to take over this country. And I see it, with them taking the guns. HR 127. These are two bills that have just been passed. $1.9 trillion, almost $2 trillion passed. 9% of it went to help people with COVID. It's supposed to be the people's bill, but it's not. It's all about the takeover and payoffs, and using the money of the taxpayers of this country, using it for nefarious reasons. And it's just really sad what's happened. Now, who stands out when you guys see someone who actually stood up or stands up for freedom and stands up for the people? Who would you say, who to you, not what the people say, I don't care what people say, who stands up and has fought since you've been in this country for the freedom that you came here for? Who understands that? Is there anybody that stands out with you?
Go ahead, Jimmy. No, go ahead.
Well, so people, when I go to support the President Trump, And the people say, we pro-Trump. No, we're not pro-Trump because of emotions or because of anything else, because we love the freedom, we love the justice, we love the fairness, and whoever stand for those factors, and we support for that people, we stand up for that people. That's the main reason, the main thing. So that's why we can see millions of people love to support President Trump, because we love justice, we love fairness, we love the freedom, the democracy. um, and and President Trump already expressed those for the American people. So that's I myself support President Trump, stand up for those.
Before, I mean, I'm more focused when I come here, and I pay attention about what Vietnam communist government doing with their country. I mean, the people inside the country are the threat of the Red China CCP. So I didn't pay attention too much about the politics over here until President Trump coming out, and I see the communist China CCP already here in US, in our government, corrupted our government officer, everything like that. I so disbelieve that. And the more coming out, and now and I see the President Trump policy towards, to retrain Red China CCP. That's why I support Trump. So Trump is the one I support. And I realized that I used to like the Republican Party until I find out most of them get corrupted by the Red China CCP money as well. So right now, I like Trump Republican Party, which is make American great again, not the Democrat, which is Mala, M-A-L-A instead of M-A-G-A. M-A-L-A is a make.
What a make, I'm gonna lose again. M-A-L-A.
Sorry about that. My wife called me. Anyway, so make American last again. Is that the Democrat Party? So I all for Trump Republican Party now.
Well, thank you for sharing that, because I do support President Trump. I'm not ashamed of it, and I'm not going to hide it, because I love America and I love what America stands for. And you two gentlemen are a perfect example of why I support President Donald Trump, because he stood up for America. He stood up for the freedoms. He wasn't racist. He was called racist. He's called all kinds of things. This is stuff that we have to tell the truth about, because many will disagree. Oh, Trump, Trump, Trump. No, President Trump, if your eyes are open, all you got to do is look at that border right now. You guys fought to get here. Look at the people who are the Democrat Party right now are letting this people, 5,000 or more people a day are flooding into this country. They took away all the protections that President Trump had in place for America. He protected this country. Even those who didn't like him, he stood up for America. It didn't matter what your race was. It didn't matter what party you were in. He is an American. He loves this country. And that's why I'm so happy that you guys understand. And I would love for you to go back and share a little bit more about communism, the threat, what the threat that you see to this country deeper than what you've said. What threat do you see to America that Americans need to wake up to? Perhaps something you haven't said. What do you see that the American people don't see? And I come on here every week, and I know folks get mad at me. I said, but I have to tell the truth. So please, if you anything you want to say, just go ahead and share.
So, I mean, to my eyes, the communist is a gangster, a mafia organization that take over the government and use that power to enslave people for their own party. So that's why we don't want to go. I mean, they used Karl Marx delusion idea and use that to fool people, to enslave people. So people have to wake up. Democrats is using the same thing to fool people. And for this race, for the young, I mean, for poor people, but they entrap them into the dependent on the government. So they vote for them to stay in power and corrupt it and get rich. That's what I see. That's why I'm so disgusted.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have to wake up. Don't get fooled by the mainstream media and the Democrat, tactics anymore. Use your brain. Watch more Fox News or some other news than the mainstream media. CNN. I call CNN is a Chinese network news. Basically, propaganda for Red China CCP and all the mainstream media AMSNBC repeat the same thing CNN's China network news doing. So people have to wake up. Please. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Yeah, if we keep quiet or we keep silence and we don't stand up, we don't speak up, we're gonna lose a last stronghold here in the United States. When I came here, and I very respect United States, they have the real freedom and real democracy compared to my country. I fled from Vietnam. So right now you can see that any media, any mainstream, they control your opinion, they control your mind. They try to drive. They try to lead your thinking into their ways. They don't have the multi dimensions. They can think out the box, right? So they just try to lead you to the way they want you to think about their way. So that is no good. So you can see that for the tweet, so for the Facebook, uh, they block you. Anything that they think that harms their way, they block you right away. So that is not the democracy. That is not a freedom at all. So think about that.
Yeah. And, we're blessed to have the Constitution and the amendments, First Amendment, the Bill of Rights, Second Amendment, we see the guns, all those amendments that God put in place. And this country was founded on the Bible, on the Word of God. And that's what made America stand out. And you talk about a shining light that sits on a hill, that's America. But that light is being dimmed by the policies of the Biden administration. Let's just be true. Let's be honest about it. And I know a lot of my friends, family, they're Democrat, as was I for a long time, until I realized I started looking and thinking for myself. I said, wait a minute, I don't agree with that. Okay, that's not right. So that's what made me change. It was God that turned me around and make me start paying close attention to things. And so that's why I was so happy to talk to both of you today, and because you've been there, you've been right in the crux of communism, socialism, Marxism, and when we see so many things and so many evil policies, I mean, I I guess, guys, when I look at what these guys are doing to this country, I said, you don't love this country, because you cannot love America and do the evil things that are happening in our government. And you're right, it's not about party, it's good versus evil. And right now, evil things are happening in politics, in our government. It's evil what they're doing. And I could go on and on and on and on and on about this stuff, because I talk about it every week. But I'm happy to have someone who firsthand knowledge, who lived and had to fight your way out. And literally, when we look at what we're going through here with the censorship, you can't think out free. You can't say they're canceling Dr. Seuss, Mr. Potato Head, Miss Potato Head. They're canceling out, tearing down statues of George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, who freed the slaves, and so many other things that are happening right here in America. And I come on here to try to, please wake up. You don't have to believe me. Do your own research. Day one of the Biden campaign, he canceled all those jobs at the Keystone Pipeline, put thousands of people out of work instantly, like day one. And that's just one of the things. And we look at the minimum wage. I talk about that when they say, oh, they're angling to put a minimum wage in the country. And I've said before, please don't do that. You will destroy millions of jobs from the small business people who cannot afford to pay a minimum wage. They can't afford to pay. Yeah, $15 may not seem like much to Walmart, and it's not. But to the small business owner, you are destroying millions of jobs from people who are trying to make it, and we're not even talking about the millions that have been lost because of this shutdown. And that's another thing. I'm not going to get started on that, because that's another thing that happened to the whole world. The whole world has been shut down, and I don't think it was an accident. That's just my opinion, Yep. And
same here. Same here.
Yeah.
I concur on that.
Anyway, yes. Do you guys have anything else you want to say before we close out the interview? I please go ahead if you want someone to contact you, or if you just have some final words of encouragement to the American people. Where do you see America going? You see, is America worth the fight? Is America worth fighting for?
I totally agree what you just said. For those people migrate from the communist country, we know very, very well of them. So when we smell or when we feel something happen here, we worry about our country, because right now our country have been going that way, and that is not good, because the communists, once you become the communist country, you have no freedom, you have no democracy, you don't have your voice, basically. And your next generation, your children, your grandchildren, have been, I can tell, man, so very bad. You don't have those rights. They don't have the law. They don't have constitution. Talking about, let's say, vote, right? In my country, at the vote, we already know who's been selected. So vote is just a joke, just a play.
Yeah.
Hey, go to vote, but we already know who's been selected. So here, the same thing here right now, we know who has been selected. So what's the vote system here? So we know the fraud. So in order to rescue our country, we have to speak up from your local. When you vote, you have to vote the right one, the people who stand by you and speak for your voice, and don't vote like without thinking. So think about further out the box. Think about your children, your grandchildren, how you can inherit it. Because right now, for those communists or people with the same policy with the communists, they are the same policy. They just like that. They don't think about the people. They suck out your blood for the people. They're just about the benefit for the small group. I try to get rich for the small group, for benefit for small group. They don't care about the rest of the people, the rest of the country. So I'm just urging people that when you vote, starting from the state level or county level, you vote. When you read for your biography carefully, what their policy when they've been selected, what they will do for your community. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, don't get fooled by what they saying.